Alright, gang, so let's talk about how to roll a covered call. Step 0, I guess I just have step 0, 1, and 2. So step 0 is that you have already sold a covered call and thus need to roll it. Step 1 is buy back original covered call. Step 2 is sell a new covered call with a higher strike and or a further expiration date. And don't lose money in the process. Okay, so it is that simple. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, and let's jump into an example. So, you guys know that I'm long Dropbox. I have a Leaps on it, and I kind of have a poor man's covered call setup going on it. So here is my Leaps. I got the $10 strike for January of 2023. Okay, you guys can look at my previous videos to see why I'm using the Leaps instead of just owning the shares. But it is basically just for leverage, and yeah, just check out those other videos if you don't already know. So, to set up a poor man's covered call, I sold a covered call, and I've needed to roll it a couple different times. So let's jump into my history here and see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you can see here on February 24th, I sold the March 26th strike, $27 strike for 35 cents a share. And then you can see these look at like short calls, but it's basically because I had to roll it. So here is me buying back that original covered call, which is step 1, buy back original covered call, and then selling the 27.50 strike for 1 week further out. Okay, so there it is, sell new covered call. That's step 2. And then step 2A is don't lose money, which you can see I took in an extra 6 cents in credit. So let's look at this. So this one I originally sold for 35 cents. I had to buy it back for 66 cents because Dropbox moved higher, and I didn't want to risk losing my Leaps on it. The Leaps is my collateral in this case. A lot of people use 100 shares and sell covered calls based on those, but basically when you are rolling a covered call, it's because you don't want to lose your underlying, and that is true in my case as well. So I had to buy this one back, so you can see it was a $31 paper loss technically. Since I sold it for 35, I had to buy it back for 66. But then I resold the 27.50 for another week out for 72 cents. So even though I lost $31 on this, I got $72 back, and I'm basically up another $6. So in combination of these two trades, I took in $41 of credit. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. And I didn't actually let that one expire. I bought it back right here for 10 cents and then simultaneously sold a new one. So that was, even though I did move up to a higher strike, this one was going to expire worthless, but I went ahead and sold a new one. But if you look at the next section, I did have to roll this one as well. So the $28 strike for 416, I originally sold it at 54 cents, and then right here you can see me buying that one back at 76 cents. So again, went from 54 to 76, so I was down at $22 on that. But I sold this 28.50, 423, so same thing. I moved it up 50 cents and out a week for 83 cents, so took in an extra $7 in premium. Okay, so between those two, you can see I've taken in 61 cents. And that one looks like it should expire worthless, but there's still a little bit of time left on it. But you can see I still own that 28.50 strike for 423, and I'm up almost 60% on it. So this one has another couple weeks before it expires, but it is pretty safe as of right now. Okay, so that's how to roll covered calls. It is very simple, very straightforward. Like I said, there's nothing special about it. You decided that you don't want to give up your underlying. Obviously, if you need to roll your covered call, it's because the underlying is moving upward and probably in your favor if you're long which is probably in your favor if you are long that underlying. So I am long Dropbox, so it's hard to get mad when it moves in my favor. And obviously my leaps has moved up pretty substantially as well, so you can see that is what's going on. Usually when I sell covered calls, it's going to be on stocks that I like in a long-term uptrend, and I'm just trying to collect some extra premium, and I know that I can roll the options, so I'm never too concerned about losing my underlying position, whatever I'm longing, whether it's 100 shares or leaps. So that is why I'm doing it. Anyway, alright, so that is how to roll covered calls. Like I said, it's very simple. You guys don't need to overcomplicate it. All you're doing is buying back the original covered call that you sold, and it's the underlying move too far in your favor, in your long call's favor. So that short call that you sold is now worth more and at risk of expiring in the money. But you don't want to have to give up your underlying, so you just buy that one back at a loss and then sell a new covered call. Usually diagonally, like I did in both of these examples. So I moved it up to a higher strike and farther out to collect the premium, and I'm always trying to not lose money in the process. Alright, if you guys have any questions on any of that, just let me know down in the comments below. And let's do a quick portfolio update since I haven't done it in a while. Things largely look the same. You can see my Robinhood account, I've put a bit more money in. Yes, I moved back to Robinhood, and it was basically just so I could sell covered calls on these leaps since Fidelity wasn't letting me, and I don't really want to get into that right now, but yes, you guys can make fun of me because I'm back partly in Robinhood. Whatever. Alright, so here are the positions I'm in. If you guys missed the, is it Viacom or Viacom? I don't even know, actually. I should have thought about that before I made this video. Anyway, there was a huge disaster with that hedge fund, and there was a huge sell-off in VIAC, in Viacom, in the CBS company that, yeah. Anyway, so I went ahead, and since none of the actual company business deteriorated at all, it's not a great reason to make a trade. But anyway, I got into this leaps. The debit spread, it was pretty low risk, just $75. So max gain is the difference in the strike, so $250 minus my initial debit, so about $175, and I currently have an order in at $1.50 to sell that. So anyway, that's what that position is. And then you can see Dropbox leaps and the current covered call that I have sold on that. And then 3D Systems, I did have this one owned in Fidelity, but I wanted to set up poor man's covered calls on it, so I sold it in Fidelity to myself in my Robinhood account, and I haven't sold a covered call on it yet. And then just also for good measure, I have a call debit spread here. Same thing, 25, 30, so max gain is the difference in the strike, so $500 minus my initial premium, which is $345. So that is the positions in my Robinhood account, and I'm going over that because I don't really have that outlaid in this. Kind of have the positions that aren't Dropbox and 3D Systems grouped in this cache. I know that isn't really right, but I didn't feel like typing it all out. So there it is. I recently took some profit on Bank of America. I'm up like 30% on that and don't expect it to go a whole lot higher. Could be wrong, obviously. But that is what I did. As always, this sheet will be linked in the description below. You can see VT is still the largest portion of my portfolio as a whole and still sitting on quite a bit of cash. Part of that's screwed up because of Robinhood. I actually only have like $300 in Robinhood cash, but I have, anyway, whatever. Still trying to trim some positions back and just kind of focus in on some. Anyway, that is what the portfolio is looking like. You can see my covered call tracker sheet here. And you can, if you actually look and do the math, that's premium that I collected on Dropbox right there. And 3D Systems, I'm probably going to sell the 2550 strike on Monday, but I haven't collected any premium yet. So anyway, here is the sheet if you guys want to copy it, and that is where I'm currently sitting. You can see my total account balance right here. And yeah, that is the video. So let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.